The Xbox Series S is currently the cheapest way of getting into the next generation of console gaming. In 2021 and probably going on into 2023, it's going to be very difficult for you to get your hands on a Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5. So with the availability of the Xbox Series S, we're going to talk about why you may want to consider picking up this console as your next generation system and what features it offers and why you should not sleep on this system. If you like what I'm doing here, guys, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, give the video a like if you like it, and always share the video with a friend who likes tech. So the Xbox Series S is officially now 1 year old, and we want to know how it has been performing in its first year. Now, I would say that the system has lived up to its expectation. It promises 1440p at up to 120 FPS. Now, we don't have any games on the Xbox Series S that is running at 1440p and at 140 FPS. However, there is an exception. We have some games that are running at 1440p at 30 FPS, maybe one or two at 60 FPS. We have 120 FPS gaming on the Xbox Series S, but it's not at 1440p. It's at a dynamic 1080p. And that's for the multiplayer mode of Gears 5. And we're also expecting the same from Halo Infinite for its multiplayer. We're expecting a dynamic 1080p resolution with up to 120 FPS for the Series S. However, I want to talk about what features you can expect on the Series S apart from the visuals and the frame rate of up to 120 FPS. If you're thinking about picking this system up, I would say temper your expectation and think of this as a 1080p 60 FPS console, because that's the resolution that you're going to be playing games at for most of the time. 95% of your games may run at 1080p at 60 FPS. And that is not bad because you're getting 1080p with all the visual effects turned on at 60 FPS. So that's basically similar to what you'd get when you're playing a game at 1080p on your PC. You're getting all the high effects turned on at 1080p with 60 FPS. Now, as it regards to backwards compatibility on the Series S, it does not have a disk drive, so all your games would have to be purchased digitally from the Microsoft Store. Now, some games have been delisted from the store, and you're probably wondering how you can get those games still. There are workarounds. For example, you could go over to CD Keys or G2A and buy a game code and redeem that on your Xbox Series S, and you'll be able to download the game. However, those codes are in limited quantity, so if there's a game out there that you really like that you'd like to get your hands on, my recommendation is that you go ahead and pick it up right away. Now, these codes that you'll be purchasing, these digital codes, they can be fairly cheap, or they can be around the same price as what you pay for it as a brand new game, or what you pay for it on the Microsoft Store. Now, diving further into backwards compatibility, there are a few Xbox 360 games and Xbox One games that does take advantage of the Xbox Series S extra power. So for example, a game like Grand Theft Auto 4, which had a unlocked frame rate, you'd be able to play this game at 720p at a locked 60 FPS. Now you have other games that ran at 1080p and 60 FPS on the Xbox 360, but it wasn't a locked 60 FPS. For example, Midnight Club Los Angeles, that was a game that ran at 1080p. However, the frame rate would be anywhere from 50 to 60 FPS. On the Xbox Series S, however, you'd be able to play that game at a smooth 1080p and 60 FPS locked. The same goes for Xbox One games. So there are some games that would take advantage of the Series S extra power, and you'd not be able to get a locked frame rate on those games. So some other features that you may want to take into consideration of the Xbox Series S is that it does output at 4K. So if you're streaming a movie on Netflix or HBO or Disney Plus, whatever streaming service that you use, if it does support 4K, yes, you can stream those movies or TV shows at 4K on your Xbox Series S. YouTube, for example, you can watch YouTube content on your Xbox Series S at 4K and 60 FPS. Quick Resume is an amazing feature of the next generation Xbox consoles, and that is also available on the Xbox Series S. So you'll be able to jump from different games that are optimized for Series S to take advantage of Quick Resume. So for example, you're playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you can jump over to Forza Horizon 5 and pick up right where you left off. So you're not missing out on anything, you just hop back into the game whenever you're ready to. And I think that is an amazing selling feature. Now, some limitations of the Series S is the 512 gigabyte of internal storage that it comes with. I expect within the next 1 to 2 years, Microsoft might do a revision of this console, and you should be able to see an option with 1 terabyte of internal storage. Now, out of the 512 gigabytes of internal storage that comes on the Xbox Series S, only 364 gigabytes is available for games. So if you look at like a game like Call of Duty Warzone, that would take up like 2/3 of your internal storage if you're playing that on the Xbox Series S. However, for Xbox One games that are backwards compatible and Xbox 360 games and the original Xbox games, those you can play off a external hard drive. So you can buy like a 1 terabyte external hard drive, put all your backwards compatible games on it and play them from there. Now, it won't take advantage of features like Quick Resume or any fast load time, but you would be able to play the game just as how you'd be able to play it on the Xbox One, which is pretty awesome. So I'd say save your internal storage for the next generation games like Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, State of Decay 3, and whichever other game that you're looking forward to, like Starfield and many others. So there is a lot to look for with the Xbox Series S, and I think if you pick up this device, though it's all digital, you would be able to enjoy this console a lot. It is one of the only way that you can get a next generation console without paying above market price. It is available through the Xbox All Access program, and basically with that you pay like $25 a month, you get Game Pass Ultimate and an Xbox Series S, and you pay that off within the next 2 years. You can also pick up an Xbox Series S off eBay for around $300 or $350, and if you're lucky you might be able to get one for $300 brand new by going to like Walmart or Target, but it's very scarce to get those for that price. So my opinion on the old Xbox Series S is that it is a very good console for what it is. For that $300 mark, I think it's a good buy. And there is one last feature of the Xbox Series S and X that I haven't talked about, and that is emulation. You can use this device to emulate everything from the original NES all the way up to PlayStation 2, and it does it pretty good. Now, there are some workarounds to get that feature working. However, I'll say once you get it up and running, it's a very good added bonus to the Xbox Series S. So that's just gonna wrap it up for my take on the Xbox Series S. Let me know what you think about the console down below, and if you like this video, please go ahead, subscribe to my channel for more gaming and tech videos. And until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.